I looked at the data from every Sub-4 video on my channel and found the 4 specific segments that you, the audience, rewatched the most. I've compiled them here into one ultimate strategy guide so you don't miss a single critical detail for your next attempt at a Sub-4 marathon. A typical training week will look something like this. You'll notice in this example, uphill repeats. They're really good. Uphill repeats use different types of muscles when you run. And because you're running shorter distances, uphill, the benefits are almost the same as running longer distance on a flat road. It helps build your running form and your running posture. Uphill repeats are a great way to build strength. In every marathon where I've broken sub-4, my training has included some uphill repeats, interval sessions, fartleks, or tempo runs. So interval training is to improve your speed overall. So basically you run faster for a bit, then recover maybe at a jog or a brisk walk or even a rest, and then do it again for a set number of repeats, just to get a bit of speed in those legs. Some good examples: 16 times 400 meters run with a 90-second rest, 15 times 300 meter run with a 100-meter rest, or 12 by 2-minute run with a 1-minute rest. Intervals are really good. Speed work, get speed in your legs over shorter distances. So fartlek is a Swedish word meaning speed play. So maybe you want to run a little bit faster and then a little bit slower and mix the pace and intensity up. That's what a fartlek is. It's usually slightly longer than an interval session. So maybe you want to run 1K at a very fast pace and maybe the next 2K at a slower pace. It's a kind of unstructured speed work. It's entirely up to you at what pace you go at what stages of the run. 1 minute at faster effort, then 3 minutes at an easy effort. Tempo runs are usually run at a slightly longer distance, so maybe for 20-25 minutes, maybe 5K. And these are usually done at a moderate to a fast pace. If you're aiming for a sub-4 marathon, your pace in your tempo run should be faster than 5 minutes 41 seconds per kilometer. It just gets you used to running at marathon or above pace for a slightly longer period of time. Easy run, which is exactly what it sounds, where you run at a very conversational pace, maybe for 30, 40, maybe even 50 minutes. Sometimes there are recovery runs. These are exactly what they sound. So after a hard training session, after some speed work, a recovery run is done at a very slow pace. And then we have the staple of all marathon training, and this is the long run. This is really important, especially when you're trying to break that sub-4 hour. So don't ever skip your long runs if you can. When you start your training, you'll be running anywhere between 10 and maybe 15 kilometers. Over the weeks of the training, this will increase to a maximum of around about 30 to 32 kilometers. Don't be daunted at the start when you see those sorts of distances on your training plan. The idea of marathon training is to slowly and gradually increase the distance week on week. So by the time you get to week 8 and 10 and 12, you will be comfortable. You will be ready to run those sorts of distances. If you're training for an autumn or winter marathon, which means you're training maybe in the summer, you can run to time on your long runs. So don't think you have to run 32 kilometers on your last few long runs if you're running in the heat and humidity. So maybe run 2.5, 3 hours for your maximum long runs. And the long runs should be done at a conversational pace. You shouldn't be trying to replicate the marathon. As time progresses in your marathon training, there's nothing wrong with introducing some marathon pace, just so your body gets used to that type of pace over a longer distance. But it should be infrequent. Most or the majority of your long runs should be done at a very easy conversational pace. The idea is to build endurance. Also, it's a really good idea to introduce some strength and core exercises into your training week. Don't do these after a hard speed session. Reserve these strength and core exercises to the days where your running's lighter. So activate those glutes, those calves, those hamstrings. Do some core strength work, which is particularly good when you're attempting your sub-4 marathon. At the later stages, when your running form and your running posture may not be as good as it was at the start. So introduce those strength and core exercises. They make a difference. The real way to do it starts 72 hours out, not in the final few hours before the big day. You need a massive amount of carbs, between 7 to 10 grams per kilogram of body weight every day. To hit those numbers, you'll be reaching for the classics like big bowls of white rice, plates of pasta, and a few bagels. Bagels are a marathoner's best friend during a load because they give you the biggest carb bang for your buck. But if you try and do this with solid food only, trust me, you're going to feel like a brick by day 2. You'll reach the stage where you can't even look at another bagel, let alone eat it. My advice, drink your carbs. Switch to to fruit juices, orange juice, apple juice, or high-carb sports drinks. Drinking a litre of these a day is the easiest way to hit your numbers without all that heavy fibre sat in your stomach. And then there's the marathon morning breakfast. This isn't the time for a full English or something experimental. And my go-to breakfast on marathon morning is usually a banana, some porridge, a bagel, and a big mug of coffee. I really do need that caffeine kick. Don't try anything new, especially your breakfast. Don't be tempted by that delicious looking breakfast buffet offered by your hotel, especially if you've not eaten it before. Stick to foods that you know. Stick to foods that you practice in your training. Don't try anything new, especially when it comes to food on marathon race day itself. I usually eat around about 120 grams of carbs. Don't overdo it. You want to start the marathon fresh, ready, raring to go. Not bloated, not heavy, not completely full. 3 hours is usually enough for that food to digest, but give you enough energy at the start to start as strong as you possibly can. But in reality, the gun goes off, the adrenaline spikes, and by 5 kilometers, you glance at your watch and you're doing 5:15 pace. Your ego takes to the wheel, it takes over. You tell yourself, I'll bank a few minutes now so I'll have a bit of a cushion when I get tired later. That's exactly what I did in Muscat. Listen to me. Banking time in a marathon is a complete myth. You aren't putting time in a bank, you're stealing energy from kilometer 35. To hold 5:41, you need to stay in your efficiency zone. The second you hit 5:15, especially early on, you cross a red line. You stop burning fuel efficiently and start burning through your limited energy stores. That's what happened in Oman to me. I went out too hot, and by 30 kilometers, the bank was empty. The 4-hour pacer floated past me and had nothing left. Use the jogging protocol for the first 10 kilometers. If 5:41 or slower feels slow, it means you're doing it right. Make a rule: no going faster than 5:41 for the first 30 kilometers. Keep the ego in check.